Peace family, Conjure Queen here. And the reason why I wanted to start this impromptu live is because something came across my mind. And I noticed that a lot of people talk about shadow work, a lot of people talk about healing. But one of the things that irritates me, and I'm pretty sure it irritates a lot of other people, is a lot of influencers, content creators, they don't give practical results or give you practical exercises or practical things to do in order to solve the main issue, which is delving into the shadow. Now, I understand that, the time that I'm going live right now is not the normal time that I go live. And I know that, those who catch it live, it was meant for you to catch this live. And those who catch it a little bit later is still going to be valuable because this content that I'm about to share with you is going to share your life, is going to change your life the same way that it changed mine. And I have a whole bunch of books in my library that I need to start recommending. A lot of the books that I do have, I have some in PDF form and I do upload them to the Conjure Society. But the ones that are not in PDF form, I always recommend them on my Amazon list. And I want to be 1,000% transparent, right? Like whenever I recommend things on Amazon, understand that I am not selling it. I am not the merchant. I think a lot of people get that confused. Only thing that I'm doing is I create a list of books that I've read or books that have changed my life, books that I feel like will help you to expand your knowledge, because I always share my resources because I want you to also reference what I say. At the end of the day, I'm a journalist, but I'm an investigative journalist and I do thorough research. And I same way I was taught in school on how to write a paper, write an essay, do a presentation, you have to come with receipts. And I think that a lot of journalists now, people have lost the art of journalism. So I have books that I want to recommend to you. And when I recommend it, sometimes Amazon will give you a discount because sometimes they have sales. I noticed that if you click the link that I give you, you'll notice that sometimes it'll be a sale on it. And also I do get a small, what's it called? I get commission whenever you click that link. So it's no extra cost to you. I just look at it as giving me a tip for giving you knowledge that's going to change your life forever. So I just wanted to be 1,000% transparent with that. Okay. So shout out to everybody that's in the building. Shout out to the family. I see you coming up in the building. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. If you're coming in, please hit that like button, as it does help with the algorithms. Y'all know how it goes, right? All right. What's up? Shout out to Alma. Shout out to the creators. Shout out to the family. Shout out to the Conjure Society. I see you. What's up, Priscilla? Yes. All right, family. So listen, you guys see that I had pinned. I'm going to pin some links. And what I want to talk about in this particular live is the 11 life traps. Now, sorry. Okay. Now, in this particular live, we're going to be talking about the 11 life traps. And this was a book that I'll be finding all types of books, but I know I love to read books that are older than me, books that come out like way before social media, because I feel as though those authors, those writers, they did a lot of thorough research, and they wasn't just pushing out information just for clicks and views and to go viral. They actually did thorough research. These are doctors, psychologists that done multiple test studies in order to come up with these practical solutions, because they understand that people like you and I, we are tired of people just giving us general advice to do shadow work and healing, right? I've been talking about shadow work for the longest, but I also give y'all practical rituals and things to do to heal. So this is another tool that I'm giving you to help you on your spiritual journey. Now, I want you all to have a pen and paper handy, because I'm thinking about there's going to be a test that I'm going to give you, and you're going to have to write down certain things. Okay. So I'm going to get to that a little bit later. So don't go anywhere. And that test is going to help you determine which of the 11 life traps you have. Okay. And like I said, if you're coming in a little bit later, you can feel free to watch this from beginning to end, because it's going to be very important information that's going to help heal you. one of the issues, what is shadow work? For people that's very new to that term, shadow work basically means that you are working on the aspects of yourself that are hidden, that are suppressed, the part of you who really is who you really are, but society told you that that part of you is ugly, that part of you is unacceptable, and you have to tuck that away and never show that to the light of day again. A lot of this happened in our early childhood, between the ages of 0 and 7. This is when we are programmed to have certain indoctrination, certain habits, certain behaviors that is instilled within us from our early childhood, from our parents, our family, our siblings, and early upbringing, right? So I'm going to list briefly the 11 life traps. And then after that, some of y'all probably already know. Has anybody in here read this book before? I have posted, let me add this link I'm going to pin the link again. I'm not sure if it's still pinned. Hold on one second, because I got multiple windows open right now. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the link to the book again for those who want to get this book. Reinventing Your Life by Jeffrey E. Young and Dr. Janet Klosko. Both of them are doctors, I believe. Excuse me. Okay. Now, first thing that I want to say, and this shadow work is triggering. It's not popular. Everybody in the spiritual community know shadow work people think shadow work means evil. It means negativity, but it's not true, okay? I want you to unprogram everything that you've learned, everything that you've been taught, and realize that everything we've been taught is a lie. And I want you to look at everything with a critical eye now moving forward and question everything, cross-reference everything, because we live in a matrix where everything that we've been told since we were little is lies. Even our parents been lied to. So it's a lot to unpack, and we're not going to be able to unpack everything in a video, but I know one thing. After I tell you this list, family, like I said, don't go anywhere. I want to give y'all some solutions, but it's so much that I can do in one live video. But anyway, I'm going to help you guys. And some of these life traps will trigger you. Okay, my platform is not to make you feel good. My platform is to help you heal so that you can grow and get past that love and light phase. It's a phase. And once you get into the shadow work, that's when you really start doing the real healing, unrooting the problem. You can cut it off at the tip, but the root still exists. So with this book, I'm going to give you the tools that you need to understand what is the root problem behind why you keep attracting the same toxic partner. Why is it that you find difficulty with maintaining relationships? Or it could just be, you know what, there's a certain pattern that you notice in your life. Whatever it could be anything that you notice. Why is it hard for you to commit? Why do you feel like you keep getting cheated on? Why do you keep cheating? Because what I notice is that people who cheat a lot, and this book talks about it as well, people who cheat a lot, there is a certain schema, or there's certain signs, certain things that happen to them that made them feel like they have to cheat. A lot of cheaters, they have abandonment issues. And so they have to cheat because they feel like if I don't hurt this person, if I don't do this to this person, then they're going to leave me. So they self-sabotage themselves because they don't think that they're worthy enough to be with one person. So they feel as though in order for me to have some sense of value, I have to have sex, or I have to copulate, I have to mingle with multiple people instead of just one, because I feel as though the more I have, the more value I must bring, right? They value themselves based upon the people around them. But I'm going to get into that. I'm talking too much. Okay, y'all ready? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the chat if you are ready for me to read off the 11 life traps, because when I first read this, it changed my mind. So first of all, understand that a life trap is a cycle that you've been put into. We don't realize that we're in the trap. It's like fish. Fish don't realize that they're in water. Humans, we've been in oxygen our whole life as soon as we came out the womb or our mother's belly. And we don't realize we're in oxygen because we're always in it. The only time you realize the difference between oxygen and water is when you dive into water, then you realize you can't breathe anymore, right? But if you're always in oxygen, it all seems the same. Now, apply that analogy to a life trap, okay? A life trap is something that you're born into. Some people born into it so they don't realize it's a problem. If you've been born into a toxic household and you've never seen a healthy relationship or healthy lifestyles, all you know is toxicity, that is your reality. The universe is mental, all is mind, right? We talk about this in the Conjure Society, the 7 universal principles, which y'all need to understand as well. Another book is called The Kabbalion. We're not going to talk about that in this video for the sake of time, but I just wanted to bring that up. That's also on my Amazon link. And all of my links is in my descriptions of my videos. And after my lives, I pin them in my comment section for those who are watching later. Now, let's get into it. So I'm going to be reading the 11 life traps from this book, Reinventing Your Life. Now, so the way that they put this is into pairs, right? So there's 11 life traps, and 2 of the life traps related to a lack of safety or security in your childhood family are abandonment and mistrust. These are 2, right? Abandonment. This is one of the life traps if you have abandonment issues. The abandonment life trap is a feeling that the people you love will leave you and you will end up emotionally isolated forever. Whether you feel people close to you will die, leave home forever, or abandon you because they prefer someone else, somehow you feel that you will be left alone. Because of this belief, you may cling to people close to you too much, clingy, okay? These are people who may have anxious attachment styles, right? They feel as though maybe their father left, maybe their mother wasn't as attentive to them, to their needs. Maybe they was the sibling, the middle child that got ignored, or whatever it may be. And so they internalize this as though I have to cling on to somebody or something, and if I don't, they're going to leave me. I cannot. That these are also people who need constant reassurance in their relationships. They need to constantly have their partner tell them that they love them. They need to constantly talk to their partner to make sure their partner is not leaving them. Somebody else is going to leave them. Maybe one of their parents stepped out, cheated in a relationship with their mom or dad, whatever. Okay. And also, you may get very upset or angry. Oh, hold on, I skipped the part, excuse me. Because of this belief, you may cling to people close to you too much. Ironically, you end up pushing them away, okay? You may get very upset or angry about even normal separations. Now, hear me. Now, we're going to be transparent here, okay? Because in order for you to heal, the first thing you have to do is identify the problem. This may apply to some people. This may not apply to some people. And that's okay, because everybody, I promise you, everybody in here, we all at least have one life trap. This book is crazy how deep it gets, okay? And I didn't even get to the test yet, because I'm going to have to test y'all. I'm going to ask y'all questions. You're going to need a pen and paper to write this down. But we're going to get to that part. Now, the second one out of the 11 is mistrust and abuse. The mistrust and abuse life trap is the expectation that people will hurt you or abuse you in some way, that they will cheat, lie to you, manipulate you, humiliate you, physically harm you, or otherwise take advantage of you. If you have this life trap, you hide behind a wall of mistrust to protect yourself. You never let people too close to you. You are suspicious of other people's intentions and tend to assume the worst. Have anybody in here always felt like, yo, this is too good to be true? Something wrong must be about to happen. I could admit that this is me, right? Like if something is too good to be true, I start getting nervous. I start feeling like, oh my God, because being so used to bad things happening, and sometimes some of us are not used to good things. So when something good comes along or a situation in life happens, you start already sabotaging it. You be like, nah, this can't be happening to me. Bad things always happen. So yeah, and thank you, those who are also being honest. Thank you, Latanya. Being honest, being transparent, being vulnerable. I said I want to be more vulnerable on my channel. I feel like vulnerability is the key that's going to help humanity heal. We have to stop acting like we got all of our shit together. We got to stop acting like everything is perfect, because we're not. If everything was perfect, the world would be in a much better condition, but it is not, because humanity doesn't want to heal. You have technology that is advancing, but humanity as a collective is still in the same space. Okay. Now, thank you. So that's part of it. And I'm not even done. We only up to 2 out of 11, y'all. Oh, it gets deeper. The more we go into this, the deeper it gets. That's why I said don't go nowhere. And also share this with a friend, share this with family members, because like I said, this book also transformed my life, and I'm sharing this because I know a lot of people that's on this journey, people who follow my YouTube. And if you're not followed already, I don't know what you're doing. Follow my YouTube, because I bring information that is not just pretty love and light stuff, but it's the real deal, heavy nitty gritty stuff that's going to change your life. It's not comfortable, but it's necessary. Life is a school, and sometimes you're going to have to go through difficult tests. You got to study. You got to go through certain experiences in order to graduate. We're going through a final exam, and this is like the review. If you haven't done the shadow work and it's time to take that test, you're going to fail miserably and have to repeat this grade all over again, meaning you're going to have to reincarnate back into this ghetto ass planet. I know a lot of y'all don't want to do that. So if you have problems concentrating, sit your ass down, listen to the information that Spirit's giving you, and do the work. I hate to be blunt like that, but sometimes that's how Spirit has to be. It has to yank your ass, grab your ass up. What are you doing? Sit down, do this work. You're grounded. Do some grounding, okay? Back to the point. You are suspicious of other people's intentions and tend to assume the worst. We're still on mistrust and abuse, by the way. Either you avoid relationships. Excuse me. Hold on. You expect that the people you love will betray you. Either you avoid relationships altogether, form superficial relationships in which you do not really open up to others, or you form relationships with people who treat you badly and then feel angry and vengeful towards them. Come on, somebody. I know I'm talking to somebody. I know I'm hitting some strings in here. And I told y'all before this video got deep that it's going to trigger some people. I gave y'all the trigger warning already. If you don't want to heal, if you don't want to elevate, if you're not ready to do the shadow work, then leave, because you're going to get triggered. You're going to get triggered. These are people who have avoidant attachment styles. Okay. Avoidant meaning that and this is subconscious once again, right? Like, because sometimes we don't realize what we're doing until something comes up and shows you in your face, this is what you're doing that's blocking your blessings. Sometimes it's us in our own way. You feel me? We got to get out of we have to get out of our own way in order to heal. Okay. Now, if you missed it, like I said, Daisy, shout out to Daisy, shout out to the members in the building. Listen, if you missed it, once again, you can watch this video again. I'm going to leave the live up, but don't go nowhere, because I'm going to go into the rest of the 11 life traps that you need to know in order to break. First key in healing is you have to identify the problem. Then you can start working on a solution. A lot of people don't know what the problem is, and that's why they keep repeating the same cycle. Okay, I'm speaking from experience. I'm telling you that, mistrust and abuse, when you don't trust people, like it says, these are people who have the avoidant attachment style. So when somebody's getting too close to you, you might find reasons to leave them. You might look for little shit to leave, right? This applies to men and women. Sometimes we don't realize that we're doing it. Like, this is for people who, let's say, you ever realize like a person will only go for toxic people in a relationship, right? And you might be like, yo, why this person turn down all of the good girls or all of the good guys, and then they always end up with like ain't shit niggas or ain't shit bitches or ain't shit people, right? Like, you'd be like, well, like, why? And then this goes back to the traumas, right? The schemas, or these signs, or these issues, these root cause problems in our childhood that develops into our relationship. Because a lot of people, and side note, family, I have a video that's pending in my drafts. I have a whole bunch of videos I haven't published, but I have a video that I'm thinking about releasing this weekend on Saturday in the afternoon. And this video is going to be talking about toxic parents. Okay, healing from toxic relationships, healing, like going deep within. And it talks about, having these attachment issues. You have to know what your attachment style is. I would recommend, this is a side note, right? Extra credit, homework, write this note down, because y'all should have a pen and paper handy whenever I do my videos or lives. I want you to find out what your attachment style is. They have a whole bunch of free tests online. I would suggest you take multiple tests from different websites, at least take 2, just to get a second opinion, because some websites are wonky, but some of them are really accurate. Okay. And find out what your attachment style is, and it will start to bring all of this together for you. Because we could talk about spirituality and consciousness all day long, but at the end of the day, we're still having a human experience. So we have to have practical, realistic, grounded solutions for these human problems. Okay? We get too caught up in the spiritual stuff and we forget that, damn, we got to work on this human body too, this human psychology too. All right. Now, moving on. So out of these two, abandonment and mistrust and abuse, these are the signs. These life traps relate to the lack of safety or security in the childhood and family. So for some reason, maybe you always had to do things on your own. Maybe you had to grow up and take care of your siblings because your parents probably wasn't emotionally available or wasn't there because they had to work all the time, right? If you had a single parent household or a broken family household, this could be the case. Even if you had both of your parents, if they were both always working and you had to pick up the slack and take care of the house or pick up a job and also pay rent, right? Like you had to grow up early. You didn't get a chance to have a childhood. So, you never really, maybe things happened too. Maybe you was abused, essayed, right? Assaulted. Things happen where it made you not trust the opposite sex or the same sex. So this is deep. We're getting into deep stuff. Everything ties into everything. Yes. Yes. Shout out to Ross. How you doing, boo? Yes. Okay, I'm glad, and thank y'all for being transparent because I'm being transparent here too. Okay, now y'all ready for the next one? Now we're going to talk about 3 out of the 11. 3 out of the 11 life traps. Okay, now dependence. If you are caught in a dependence life trap, you feel unable to handle everyday life in a confident manner without considerable help from others. You depend on others to act as a crutch, and you need constant support. As a child, you were made to feel incompetent when you try to assert your independence. As an adult, you seek out strong figures upon who to become dependent and allow them to rule your life. At work, you shrink from acting on your own. Needless to say, this holds you back. Now, dependents, these are people who maybe you had an overbearing parent and you never really got a chance to do things on your own. Maybe they did everything for you. This is a life trap where this relates to the ability to function independently in the world. Does anybody in here relate to this, or anybody who, let's say, for instance, maybe their parent did everything for them, right? Like I know someone who parent did everything for them, like literally everything for them, where they literally didn't know how to apply for a job. They didn't know how to take care of themselves, like pay rent, pay bills. They didn't know anything because their mother did everything. But when their mother left this planet, they literally became like obsolete. They couldn't do anything. They was literally a baby. And this is what happens when children are encouraged to problem solve. They aren't encouraged to think of their own solutions. And this is why I always say, be careful of who you're helping or who cries for help all the time, because you could be getting in the way of their karma. And that's why karma is whooping your ass, because you're not allowing them to learn how to walk on their own. Stop being people's crutches, thinking that you're helping when you're actually hindering and hurting them even more. And you're going to be the reason why they get left back and have to repeat this grade again and come back into this physical reality. So I understand that you're coming from a place of love, but I had to take this hard pill to swallow as well. And I had to realize that everybody who comes crying, it's not your job to help them. You got to consult with your spirit guides, your ancestors, your higher power. And you got to say, Spirit, God, Goddess, is it okay for me to help this person? Or is this something that's out of my control and my power? When people come to me for root work, for ritual work, spell work, whatever, I consult with my spirits first, and I say, Spirit, is it okay to help this person? That's why I tell the person, send me a photo, send me this and this or whatever, so I can ask my spirit first. If my spirit be like they can't help you, I'm going to refund you, give you your money, because I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you. Okay? I know my spirit is going to let me know when something is fixable and when something is not, and I need to mind my business. Okay? So know how to mind your business and get out of people's way, get out of your way, and stop trying to say, always playing Captain Save-A-Ho or save a nigga, whatever, and let people lay where they lay and let them learn their lessons. Let them learn how to walk. If you have a child, right? Everybody in here didn't know how to walk coming out the womb. You had to learn how to fall and bump your head a few times, crawl a little bit before you actually learned how to use your two legs. Now you don't even got to think about it, right? It's second nature when you walking. You don't got to think, okay, which leg I got to put first? How am I going to balance my body? Unless you get into an accident and you have to learn how to walk all over again, right? That's different. But I use all of these analogies to help you understand where I'm coming from. I don't mean to be talkative. I just want everybody to be on the same page. All right. So that is for people. That was dependence. Now we're going to talk about vulnerability, which is the second one. Okay. Which is the fourth one. When I say second one, the way that the book does it is it pairs two. So it's 11 stigmas. It pairs two of certain stigmas together under a group, right? So abandonment and mistrust is under people who had safety issues or security in the home, lack that. The next one is vulnerability, 4 out of 11. This is paired with those who have a difficulty with functioning independently in the world. Now let's talk about vulnerability. Shout out to Straight Panther. And it's a lot of people in the building right now, and I'm surprised because it's 4:14 right now in Brooklyn, New York. I don't know where y'all are in the world, but I just winged it. Spirit said go live anyway. It doesn't matter. Those who get this message is going to get this message, but it's hitting my spirit right now. Because something is telling me that 2025, a lot of us have been in hiding. A lot of us have been in our cocoon, healing, doing the shadow work, just working on ourselves for the past X amount of years or time. And I feel like 2025 is the year now where we're coming out of our cocoon. 2025 is the year where now the introverts, those who are isolated, are going to be coming out of hiding. The hermit is coming from the wilderness and coming to the villages and coming to the cities to speak to the people. Okay, now is the time where you have to come out of that hiding, out of the darkness, and bring what you learned in the darkness into the light. Okay, this is what we mean by the yin yang energy. You have to go into the shadow of the darkness, right? The dark night of the soul. You have to face your demons and gain the tools and wisdoms that you need in order to evolve and grow past that. You have to. This is the journey, right? This is what makes the shaman is heals themselves, and that's how they know how to heal other people, right? I always say I'm a shaman in training because that's what my spirits tell me. They still tell me I'm a shaman in training. All the things that I go through is to help me in my journey, even though some of the lessons be hard as shit. But I'm telling you right now, those who get the hardest lessons is because you have an advanced soul and you can handle it. Sorry, I'm talking too much again, but it just be channeling through me, y'all, when it comes. All right, let me sip some of my water, and I'm gonna go to the fourth one. How y'all doing so far? Okay, because I've been feeling that call to come out of hermit mode too. I've been feeling that call to come out of hermit mode. Vulnerability, 4 out of 11. With vulnerability, let me move this. Okay. With vulnerability, you live in fear that disaster is about to strike. Whether natural, criminal, medical, or financial, you do not feel safe in the world. If you have this life trap, as a child, you were made to feel that the world is a dangerous place. You were probably overprotected by your parents who worry too much about your safety. Your fears are excessive and unrealistic. Yet you let them control your life and pour your energy into making sure that you are safe. Your fears may revolve around illnesses. These are like hypochondriacs, people who always think that they're sick, who's always worried about getting sick, having anxiety attacks. You're worried about getting AIDS or going crazy. They may be focused around financial vulnerability, going broke and ending up on the streets. Your vulnerability may revolve around other phobic situations, such as fear of flying, being mugged, earthquakes, all types of stuff like that. So now let's talk a little bit about this vulnerability. And I just want to mention this too, even though we're going through, like, I'm listing this and I'm giving y'all general information because I want y'all to do your own research. If you want to work with me and you find, like, when we go through these different life schemas and you're like, yo, Conjure Queen, I want to work with you. I want to work with others as well. Like, if you want a community of other people, if you're tired of feeling like you're healing by yourself, I find that healing with other people, having a community, having a strong support system, it takes you far. Alone, you get there faster, but when you're with people, you get further. And this is not a sprint race. This is a marathon. And why am I saying this? I want to invite you to the Conjure Society because even though, like I said, I'm putting this information publicly, there's some things that I don't talk about publicly, and we could delve deeper into healing, into the shadow work, and actually keeping ourselves accountable in the Conjure Society. It's a community of people who are seriously dedicated to working on themselves, not just people out here looking for, clout and looking for all of this stuff for social media. No, these are real people who are like, yo, I'm over this matrix shit. I'm ready to heal. I'm ready to build with people who's on my frequency. Like we tired of being isolated. We tired of being alone. We tired of putting ourselves in circles that just don't resonate with us. You feel me? Like we want to work with those who are willing to work on themselves. It's draining being with people who don't want to take accountability. It's draining trying to mask and fit into a society that's ass backwards. It's draining, and I'm over it. And that's why we have our community, because why waste our time posting on, these platforms that are controlled, that limits what information comes to you. It's just, I'm going off. Sorry. Thank you for the donation, FMC 917. I appreciate you. The Descendants of Inanna is a perfect story about shadow work in an animated film, The Painting. Look, thank you so much for recommending that. See, look, FMC is giving y'all information. Write that down. Thank you for the information. And this is why I love my platform, because everybody in here is smart. Everybody in here does the work. Y'all teach me, I teach y'all. I'm still a student. Shout out to Alchemist Empress. She be doing her thing, yo. She be posting amazing content, posting Bobby. Shout out to Bobby Hemmett, my teacher. Yo, follow her on Instagram and follow her. She also has a YouTube. Make sure y'all support her because she is doing work out here, spreading this information, because there's too much love and lighters out here, and it's not enough people that spread information like myself, like Alchemist Empress, doing our thing and making sure that there's balance. Now back to shadowing, back to healing. Understand too, if you have the vulnerability life trap, this is because these are people who always watch the news too, right? Like, be careful of, like, if you're always doom scrolling, if you find yourself always watching those YouTube videos or social media TikToks or whatever, always scaring you, oh, the world is ending, oh, the earth is going to break apart, we're all going to die. Yo, I'm at the point now where I'm like, yo, if I die, I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it. It don't matter no more to me. I already planned out how I want my service to be. I already got my will written up. Like, I'm prepared to die. If I was to die today, I'll be okay. Like, I really would be. Because at the end of the day, I did what I came to do, right? Like, I did most of my work. I came here, I shared my knowledge. I wanted to awaken the sleeping gods and goddesses, and I did that. You feel me? I did that. So now Spirit is taking me on another journey. And listen, now it's about going deeper. So look, if you have that vulnerability schema, or if you have that vulnerability life trap, understand that all of these life traps, you can break free from it. And that's why I recommended this book. I pinned it. Hold on. For those who want to join the Conjure Society, I have posted. Hold on. Because I know some of y'all. Oh, sorry. Okay, that's the link to the Conjure Society. I do have pinned the Amazon link. I think it's still pinned. I'm not sure, because sometimes it disappears. But let me post that. I'm gonna put that in the chat. The link to the book that I'm reading. So if y'all want to order it on Amazon, like I said, we're going to be talking about this in the Conjure Society, because a lot of us are avid book readers as well. So get this book, get a head start. because we're going to be working on this diligently to heal our traumas. We're not playing. Winter season is about the shadow work, and we about to emerge for spring as new beings. I'm not playing. Nubians. That's funny. Nubians. Ha, play on words. I didn't even mean to do that. All right, look, let's go to the next one. And if you resonate with any of these, if you're feeling transparent enough, share that in the comment section, share that in the chat. Because once again, by you being vulnerable, you also inspire other people to open up and be vulnerable as well. You feel me? Thank you for the donation, Aisha. Thanks for the knowledge. That's right on time. Thank y'all. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Crystal. She's also a Conjurist member. Shout out to her. She's been a long time supporter. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's talk about emotional deprivation. Oh, this is a big one. Y'all ready for this one? All right. Did I go deep enough into vulnerability, or y'all ready to go to the next one? Let me know in the chat. Or did y'all want me to elaborate more on this one? Let me know before I go how much time we got. We good on time. We good on time. How y'all doing? Get your pen, paper, water, tea ready, because I know this is going to be one of those segments where we're going to go deep. Some of y'all might be crying because some triggers may come up, so get your tissues as well. Next one. Okay. So we good on it. Next one. All right, we're going to move to the next one. All right, emotional deprivation. Let's talk about emotional deprivation. So we're up to number 5, right? Number 5 out of 11 of the life traps. Some of y'all may have more than one, and that's okay. But that means we got work to do. We're going to help. We're going to heal. We're going to heal. Don't worry. Okay? Pens and paper. Emotional deprivation. Okay? And if you have this book, you can read along with me. This starts on page 18 on Reinventing Your Life. Okay? This book came out in 1992 or 1993, I believe. So this book is older than a lot of us. But, like I said, the ancient books got older knowledge. Emotional deprivation. Emotional deprivation is the belief that your need for love will never be met adequately by other people. You feel that no one truly cares for you or understands how you feel. You find yourself attracted to cold, ungiving people, or you are cold and ungiving yourself, leading you to form relationships that inevitably prove unsatisfying. You feel cheated, and you alternate between being angry about it and feeling hurt and alone. Ironically, your anger just drives people further away, ensuring your continued deprivation. So this is what we're talking about, right? Remember, the universe is mental, all is mind. And what happens is the brain will choose familiar patterns over non-familiar, because naturally as human beings, our brain is wired that way to protect us, to survive. So whenever your brain picks up something that says, this is danger, this is endangering my safety, my security, my livelihood, the brain is automatically going to switch to safe mode, which goes back to the child, right? Your younger self. What did your younger self used to do to protect itself from hurt, from danger? What did you used to do? These are things you got to write down and think about, because a lot of the things we've been doing it so long is second nature to us. We just think that everybody operates this way. Everybody must think this way, but that's not true. It's far from the truth. Okay. Emotional deprivation. Now, hold on. Let me make sure it's not another part to this. It is. Okay. When patients with emotional deprivation come to see us for therapy sessions, there is a loneliness about them that stays with us even after they have left the office. That's how deep emotional deprivation is. Oh my God. It is a quality of emptiness, of emotional disconnection. These are people who do not know what love is. Now, listen, this is deep, because so many people, your parents probably loved you. They probably gave you food, clothing, shelter, right? So you wasn't neglected in that way, but maybe they didn't emotionally make you feel safe. So let's say if you was an emotional child and you cried a lot, they probably told you, stop all of that crying, right? Suck it up, be tough. Like, this was me. I was very sensitive to everything. I knew that something wasn't right. When people did certain things, call it the scapegoat. It's the child or the person in the family who realizes that things are not right, that we shouldn't be behaving this way, that something's wrong with this system, something's wrong with this world. But you have the adults or the agents of the system who still plugged into the matrix that will try to stifle your growth. Or because you was a rebellious child, maybe, your parents neglected you and said, all right, I'm gonna quiet them out, or I'm gonna block them out. And so you felt emotionally abandoned, right? Even when it comes to babies, science has proven if a mother, let's say, leaves the baby crying for too long, the baby can develop emotional deprivation signs then. And did you know that signs that a child, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. No, I'm gonna say this. I forgot the guy's name, but it's a book called When the Body Says No. Oh, I have the book somewhere on my thing, but I don't want to get distracted. When the Body Says No. I think that's also on my Amazon list, where he says that there was an experiment that was done that tested to see the babies who cried less and who cried more. Did you know that babies are so intelligent that if they can sense that their parent is overwhelmed, their caretaker, the one who gives them food, clothing, and shelter, their survival needs, if their mother or their father is overwhelmed, the baby internalizes, I have to stop crying so much because I'm stressing my caretaker out. And if I stress my caretaker out, they're not going to be able to provide me the love and care and the nurturing that I need to survive. So I need to shut my mouth, stifle my needs so I can make sure my caregiver is okay. Now, this becomes people who are people's pleaser. They have, they have to always take care of their parents. They have to always make sure that the house is taken care of. They bite their lip, they bite their tongue because they became the emotional punching bag for their parents or family members. And these are also people who are always like the go-to friend that everybody cries to and complain to, but you don't have anybody to go to. You feel emotionally abandoned, emotional deprivation. This shit is deep. Whew. Okay, this shit is deep. Thank you for sharing that. They was emotionally neglected as well and had no sense to see or guidance to acknowledge. And you know what, Roz? That's crazy because a lot of the times healing comes too. Once you do this shadow work and you read this book, you're going to realize that the reason why your parents or your caretakers treated you that way, you got to look at how were they raised? How are the people who raised them? How were they raised? So this is why you came into this bloodline to break these generational curses. You knew something wasn't right. You came and said, no, it's not going to continue with my bloodline. I'm not going to let this go on with my kids. I'm not going to let this go on with society. Even if you don't have any kids, you can spread the knowledge and share this with other parents like I'm doing now. Okay, now let's go. This is people who've been emotionally, they never knew love. So it's like they're always going to be looking for love in all of the wrong places. And this is why they tend to attract partners who are mean to them. These are people who attract abusers, narcissists. And abuse isn't always physical. It could be emotional. Right? It could be emotional. Okay. Transparency is healing. All right. Now let's move on to the next one. What is this? 6? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're moving on to 6. 6 is social exclusion. Social exclusion involves your connection to friends and groups. It has to do with feeling isolated from the rest of the world, with feeling different. If you had this life trap as a child, you felt excluded from your peers. You did not belong to a group of friends. Perhaps you had some unusual characteristics that made you feel different in some way. As an adult, you maintain your life trap by mainly through avoidance. You avoid socializing in groups and making friends. You may have felt excluded because there was something about you that other children rejected. Hence, you felt socially undesirable. As an adult, you may feel that you are ugly, sexually undesirable, low in status, poor in conversational skills, boring, or otherwise deficient. You reenact your childhood rejection. You feel and act inferior in social situations. Remember what I said, the brain will go back to what it's used to. It will go back to its patterns, even if it's toxic. The brain will go back to what's familiar, and it will repeat certain patterns. And it's up to us to realize these patterns and break them. Okay. It is not always apparent that someone has a social exclusion life trap. Many people with this life trap are quite comfortable in intimate settings and are quite socially skilled. Their life trap may not show in one-to-one relationships. It sometimes surprises us to realize how anxious and aloof they may feel at parties, in classes, at meetings, or at work. They have a restless quality, a quality of looking for a place to belong. Listen, my black sheep, or my black goats out there, right? Listen, a lot of us can relate to this, right? Maybe like the thing said, you were different from other kids. Maybe you weren't, you weren't slobbing at your mouth and snot wasn't running down your nose. Like, you literally had questions about things. You was questioning your teachers when things didn't sound right. Right? You was questioning your parents. You was questioning society. And because you was very inquisitive and you was different from your peers, your siblings, your family, whatever, everybody put you as the oddball out. And so you internalize that, saying, I'm different. People keep telling me my difference is bad. I keep getting reprimanded for being different. I keep getting beat for being different. So I'm internalizing that in order for me to fit into society, I have to reject who I really am, and I have to become something that I'm not. And so a lot of us put on a mask to seem normal, and we hate it. We resent it because how dare you not like this fake version of me and not who I really am. And this is why relationships don't work, because people put on this facade. They put the representative forward. You fall in love with the representative and not fall in love with the true person. Okay? Shit is crazy. Visionary Lex says there's so much fear that I am breaking now. Shout out to Visionary Lex. Shout out to the members. Yo, shout out to you, my love. We out here healing and breaking generational curses. We're not going to just sit here and cry and complain about it. Crying and complain about it, it's okay to vent and get it out, get it off your chest. But how long are you going to cry and complain about it and blame the matrix for your shortcomings, right? We're alchemists, right? We're conjurers, right? So we create our own reality. In order for us to do that, we have to take accountability, and we have to be honest when things are not working and when we are the problem. Okay. Nobody's going to hold you accountable like that, but Conjure Queen is going to hold you accountable, and Conjure Queen is going to call you out on your bullshit. Because sometimes we need that type of love, and we need that honesty. And I find that, and let me know if I'm wrong, but I find that, I find that a lot of the times in women relationships or women friendships that, as a tomboy, as someone who had mostly could compare friends with women and men, I find that sometimes women can be enablers. And they don't be honest with their girlfriends or their homegirls about their behaviors. And what I've noticed in my experience with dealing with women and dealing with men is that with women, and this is not to generalize, this is just my experience. And that's why I said anybody else who can relate, let me know. If you have a different experience, you can also let me know. That's okay. Women, they will continue to edge a woman on and not be honest with her. She won't let her friend know when she's getting fat. She won't let her friend know if things don't look right. She won't let her friend know, like, hey, I don't think that relationship is really good for you. Like, women tend to be the number one enablers and people pleasers because they want to. Navigating women relationships is very tricky because with women are very complex. And you can't always just come out and be honest and tell them how you really feel, especially if it's the truth. Sometimes you have to cushion the truth a little bit. And some of the men probably know too, because my homeboys just always tell me, like, whenever it comes to their girlfriend or whatever, like they girlfriends don't want the honesty. If your girlfriend's coming and asking you, babe, does this dress make me look fat? And your man is like, yeah, it does kind of make your role show. She's going to get upset with him. How dare you call me fat? But you asked me, right? But a homegirl who's going to lie, she'd be like, nah, girl, that dress looks fly on you. Fuck you, mean girl, yes. Like, and you going out there looking a whole hot mess. Sometimes some women will sabotage you. So why do I say all of this, right? And I notice with my male friendships, and I'm not saying men don't lie, But I noticed like with my male friendships, my homeboys were the number one people who always kept it 100 with me. They always kept it a buck with me. They told me whenever I was acting out. They told me whenever I need to get my shit together. If I asked for advice, they gave me practical advice. And I never came back to them with the same question, because if I did, they would be like, I already answered this question. Why are you coming back to me with the same problem? And so it's what I realized is that, women and men, our brains are wired differently. Some of us maybe were masculine or more feminine than others, but I realized that, men brains are wired to see details and find solutions, and very practical, straight to the point. Women, our brains are wired to be abstract and creative and different. And so sometimes we can overthink something that's so simple, right? When it's really, it could just be black or white, yes or no. So yes, it is about balance. And why do I bring that up? Because it's about holding accountability. And I think that we need to start being honest with our people around us and stop people pleasing and just telling people what they want to hear because we're afraid that we're going to lose a friend. If you got a lie to keep friendships, if you got a lie to keep a relationship, then are you really living in your truth? That's why things ain't working out for you. That friendship, that relationship may not be for you because you're still lying to yourself. Going back to that schema about people pleasing, emotional deprivation, social exclusion, right? People pleasing because you want to be accepted so bad. But I promise you, freedom comes when you stop giving a fuck, when you start telling people how you really feel. And I'm not saying be rude about it, but be honest. I lost a lot of friendships because I was honest. I lost friendships because I had boundaries. And I'm like, no, you can't just call me and hit me up whenever you want to. Like, I have certain times when I don't want to be bothered, right? I don't care who you are. I don't want to be bothered at this time. This is me time. So you have to have that same level of discipline and boundaries when it comes to people. And my boundary is I don't want to have friendships where I got to lie to you, where I got to feed your ego to make you feel better. I'm not doing that. I'm not the friend that you come to cry to and vent to. I'm the friend that you come to for solutions. I need, like, yo, Tay, I'm having these issues. What do you think about this? Feel me? But anyway, that's just my take. That's why I was a tomboy most of my life, because I felt like I just kind of resonated more with guys and it was always issues with women. But that's a whole nother video I'm gonna bring up for another time. And maybe that's also my own like stigma or traumas for, the bad relationships I've had with women. Because I've had great relationships with women too. And anyway, let's go. I'm talking too much. All right. So we did social exclusion. Now we up to 7, defectiveness. Okay. With defectiveness, you feel inwardly flawed and defective. You believe that you would be fundamentally unlovable to anybody who got close enough to really know you. Wow. Okay. Your defectiveness would be exposed. As a child, you did not feel respected for who you were in your family. Instead, you were criticized for your flaws. You blamed yourself. You felt unworthy of love. As an adult, you are afraid of love. You find it difficult to believe that people close to you value you, so you expect rejection. Wow. Just wow. This is another avoidant attachment style where, you just avoid situations altogether. Remember what I said in the beginning of this live, that the way that the authors paired the different life traps was in pairs together. So this is paired with social exclusion and defectiveness, right? Excuse me. Emotional deprivation and social exclusion was paired together. Defectiveness is dealing with the life trap that deals with self-esteem and defectiveness, right? So this is dealing with your self-esteem. Maybe your parents didn't boost your self-esteem enough when you were younger. Shout out to the members. Maybe, your parents didn't big you up enough. Maybe you had family members or friends or whatever that always took a jab at you. It could have been your intelligence, the way you speak, the way that you dress, anything. The 2 life traps that relates to, okay, sorry, I read that one already. The next one is failure. Okay. because thank you so much for the donation, Marquise Jones. Peace and blessings from from Motown. Shout out to the family. Shout out to those who are donated. I definitely appreciate you, and it does keep the channel going. Like I said, I do this full time. I don't have a job, and I am dedicated to waking up the sleeping guys and goddesses so we can start healing and get the fuck up out of this matrix. Dead ass. So let's do that. Failure. Defectiveness. No, let's move on to failure. Failure is the belief. This is the 8th one. Am I up to 8? I think it's 8. 7? Sorry, lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, failure is 8. So we up to 8 out of 11. Some of these probably resonate with a lot of y'all right now. Like I told y'all, have your pen and paper handy because hopefully we got time to do the test. Because I told you I want to do the test so you can see what it is, right? Because you're going to have to tally it up and add up your points, okay? So I'm going to teach you how to do the test. Don't go nowhere. This way you can find out what your life trap is and stay tuned. Failure is the belief that you are inadequate in areas of achievement, such as school, work, and sports. You believe you have failed relative to your peers. As a child, you were made to feel inferior in terms of achievement. You may have had a learning disability, or you may never have learned enough discipline to master important skills such as reading. Other children were always better than you. You were called stupid, untalented, or lazy. As an adult, you maintain your life trap by exaggerating the degree of your failure and by acting in ways that ensure your continued failure. Wow. This is for people who probably had parents or upbringing where, you know, maybe you had people who, like, some people have siblings that were just bullies, you know, like people tell me, like, you know, they probably had siblings that bullied them and the parents didn't do nothing about it. Even sometimes parents get in on bullying on the child. And I never understood that. Like, how are you bullying your child with your other kids? What? But it happens, you know, like sometimes parents can be bullies. And for people who have healthy relationships, I know that seems far-fetched to you, but it's true. It's true. Shout out to Crystal, like resonating with so much aspect to these, trying to do this, try for doing this now. Listen, this is the time to do this now. But yes, this is like, if you always felt like a failure, like maybe, you know, and this is for people who got like, who's neurodivergent. Let's talk about neurodivergency for a second too. And shout out to everybody who's being very, very transparent and open in the chat. We appreciate you. Thank you for your vulnerability. As I'm looking in the chat, you know, I'm also going to be giving you some screen time and posting that so other people can know that they're not alone, and that there's others out here who have gone through this, right? You probably was neurodivergent, and I'm probably going to do a different video talking about neurodivergent people living in this society. Yeah, I'm gonna do a deep dive into that because that's a video that I'm gonna have to really do some deep research into. People who are neurodivergent, what I mean, neurodivergent just basically means your brain is wired differently from the typical average human being. This is why you think differently, you speak differently, you operate differently, and you just move differently. Your vibe is different from everybody else. Okay, your brain is not wired to operate in this matrix, this left brain society, as you was indoctrinated. So your brain was rebelling against the system, whether you knew it or not. And society kept whipping you and saying, no, you have to learn this way. You have to read this way. This is like children who are left-handed, right? Maybe I know in the Caribbean, you know, my friend from the Caribbean told me like this, like she used to get beat because she was naturally left-handed, but they was like, no, we don't do left-handed, we do right-handed. So they would beat her every time that she used her left hand to write until she had to learn how to start writing with her right hand. Shit is crazy. Like, so that's why I'm like, it's trauma, right? Being told you're stupid, being told, oh, you're different. Why can't you read? Or why can't you do this? When that's like asking a fish to take the same exam that a bird takes. Like we're all different animals, we're all different creatures in the same class taking the same test, but we all have different skills and abilities. This system is outdated, and that's why kids nowadays don't have any interest in school. Anyway, it is sad. It's very sad, but it is what it is. And that's why we're healing. Okay, let's go to the next one. Subjugation, which is, what am I on? 9? Okay. 9, subjugation. So, subjugation and unrelenting standards. These are the 2 life traps that deal with self-expression. Your ability to express what you want and get your true needs met. Subjugation and unrelenting standards. So these are 2. Okay. So 8 out of 11 is subjugation. This is what the 8th life trap. With subjugation, you sacrifice your own needs and desires for the sake of pleasing others or meeting their needs. We talked about people's pleasing, didn't we? You allow others to control you. You do this either out of guilt that you hurt other people by putting yourself first, or fear that you will be punished or abandoned if you disobey. As a child, someone close to you, probably a parent, subjugated you. As an adult, you repeatedly enter relationships with dominant, controlling people and subjugate yourself to them, or you enter relationships with needy people who are too damaged to give back to you in return. So then in turn, you become the controlling one. Crazy. Subjugation. I mean, people pleasers. Once again, this is going back to the analogy I use with the parent, the child who doesn't cry much, right? The child will not cry so that the parent will, this is why the child learns to stifle their own needs and put their parents' needs first. And they internalize this and they say, okay, well, the only way that I'm going to get attention and love and validation is if I put my needs on hold and I make sure everybody else is happy. And this becomes your truth. And remember, our truth becomes our reality. And whatever we believe is true, it is true. It's our truth. And that's what we project that onto the world. So you got to look at your brain being the projector and the physical world being the projector screen. And as long as your projector is dirty, cracked, or messed up in some way, no matter what's going on in the outside world, you're always going to see it based on that projection. You got to cleanse that lens. Some of y'all might have to throw out that old projector and get a new one because that's how damaged it is. But it's all possible. No, it's not about the 7 life paths, boo. Totally different. The 11 life traps. I know y'all probably never heard of this because this isn't something that's talked about. And if you hear this again, they heard it from me. Because I'm telling you right now, family, this book right here will change your life. And I pinned the link. Let me pin the link again. Let me pin the link again for those who want to buy this book. Because this is an investment that you want to make. You want to get this book. I'm not the author of this book, okay? I'm not being sponsored to promote this book. If you click on the Amazon link, okay, listen, I'm not the merchant. I'm just telling you that. I only get a small commission for those who click the link and go into it with no extra additional cost to you. Okay. Now, relenting standards. This is the 10th one? 10. Yeah, we have the 10 now. Unrelenting standards. If you are in the unrelenting standards life trap, you strive relentlessly to meet extremely high expectations of yourself. You place excessive emphasis on status, money, achievements, beauty, order, or recognition at the expense of happiness, pleasure, health, a sense of accomplishment, and satisfying relationships. You probably apply your rigid standards to other people as well and are very judgmental. When you were a child, you were expected to be the best, and you were taught that anything else was failure. You learned that nothing you did was good enough. This is for people who had parents that were very strict, parents that were like, listen, you better come into this house with 100s. If you get a 95, you better try harder next time. These were like very strict, controlling parents that put so much pressure on their children. And maybe it was out of love, right? Because they wanted the best for their kids. I know, like, my family coming from the South, they were very like gung-ho about like achievements, like, growing up in a quote unquote Black household, was told like, listen, study, don't worry about boys, get good grades, make sure that you get a good job, you be independent, you focus on yourself. But then, they never really teach us like, hey, you should also implement, other qualities in your life as well, right? Emotional fulfillment, love, working on yourself, boundaries, things like that. But no, just get good grades, get good job, career, success, money, wealth, power. That is success. That's what society tells us, right? Social media tells us that as well. That's why people always comparing themselves on social media, because they're looking at the next person, seeing what they got going on. But everything is an illusion. Everybody has a life trap. Everybody, right? Now, you got to be honest with yourself, right? Like, maybe your parents were hard on you. And so now, even if your parents are not hard on you, you still got that inner voice playing in your head, like a recording, a broken record over and over. You know, you can accomplish the best thing, but you still feel like it's not good enough. You feel me? You could be accomplished in everything. You could solve world peace. You could create an elixir to cure all types of illnesses, and you still will feel like it's not good enough. That was me at one point in time where, you know, I felt like in order for me to feel important, I have to prove myself. I have to accomplish. I have to be accomplished. I have to have certain things. I have to have certain this. And then I realized at the end of the day, it's like, none of that shit matters, yo, because when you die, you can't take none of that with you. So what really matters is your experiences. Like, are you making time for your loved ones? Are you making time to do the things that you really love to do? My philosophy right now in 2025 and moving forward is, I just want to live a life full of fun. I just want to have fun every day, every second of the day, as often as I can. I want to play more and work less. I want to indulge in my inner child. I don't want to allow the matrix to destroy my playful spirit. Because I know it's so easy for us to lose ourselves. Okay, so you have to have your own declaration. When I'm bringing these traumas up, I know it's going to trigger some people, but we're identifying the problem. The next one is 11. Yes, the last one is entitlement. The final life trap, entitlement, is associated with the ability to accept realistic limits in life. People who have this life trap feel special. They insist that they are able to do it, say, or have whatever they want immediately. They disregard what others consider reasonable, what is actually feasible, the time or patience usually required, and the cost to others. They have difficulty with self-discipline. Many of the people with this life trap were spoiled as children. They were not required to show self-control or to accept the restrictions placed upon them or other children. As adults, they still get very angry when they do not get what they want, right? Now you have an idea of which life trap applies to you. Oh, the next chapter will tell you what life trap comes from, blah, 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 blah. All right, so this is a deep book, okay? I ain't gonna lie, this book was so deep, like I gotta finish reading it myself. Like I had paused at one point in time. Anybody else do that? You'd be in the middle of a book. I'd be reading like 3 different books at once, but I said I want to develop enough self-discipline to finish the book out. But this goes into grandiosity from the Law of Human Nature by Robert Greene. It's another excellent book, by the way. But I'm a book nerd. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm very well read. I love reading books, and books have changed my life, right? Like Rich Dad, Poor Dad is the reason why I quit my 9-to-5 in 2015 and never looked back, because it taught me that, you know, pay yourself first and then pay responsibilities and bills and stuff later. That changed my life. So that's a philosophy I live by. You feel me? At the end of the day, what if you prioritize your fun, your happiness and pleasures over bills and rent and mortgage? What if you put that as a secondary? What if you just shifted that for a moment and you're like, CQ, how can I do that? I got responsibilities. I got kids. I got things. I promise you, once you shift your mindset and you say, I am prioritizing, like if you say, listen, this year, I want to be outside. I want to get out. I want to socialize more. You got to prioritize that. You got to make room for that. You can't just still be operating on, all right, I'm just going to work, coming home, taking care of the kids, going to sleep and repeating it. You're not making time for the things that you want. You got to be like, nah, I'm scheduling it out of my calendar. Nothing's going to stop me from going to this meetup. Nothing's going to stop me from going to this event. Nothing's going to stop me from going on this date. I'm outside. I'm doing what I want to do. And then invest in that. And invest in what you feel is valuable. If you want to travel more, invest in traveling more. Okay. But those are the 11 life traps. And this is just the brief description, but it goes deeper. Like there's chapters for each one. Now let's go a little bit into the quiz. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to get a pen and piece of paper. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to create a life track score sheet. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to list the paper 1 through 22. And list it going down, right? 1 through 22. Okay. So you're going to have two sections. You're going to have one box that is for as a child. Let me see if I can write this for y'all. Hold on. Got it. Because I'm visual. I'm probably sure y'all are too. All right. So I'm going to go through a list of things and you're going to have to write a number 1 through 6. Now, what this number is, it's kind of like the test that you take when you're going for a job. You got to apply for a job and you have to put, do you agree with this or do you disagree with this? 1 through, like, y'all know what I'm talking about. That test, whenever you got to apply for a job and they want to understand your psychology and shit, that. So basically, there's a scoring key. 1, right? 1 means it's completely untrue to you, meaning you don't agree with this. It doesn't apply to you. 6 being it describes you perfectly. So 1 through 6, right? So 1 is completely untrue. You don't relate to this. 2 is mostly untrue of me. 3 is slightly more true than untrue. 4 is moderately true. 5 is mostly true. And 6 is definitely describes me perfectly. Okay, y'all get it now? Okay, so okay. Now let me write this for y'all. Hold on, because I want y'all to see it. All right. I hope this makes sense. Look, because I filled mine out, but I don't want y'all all in my business. I don't want y'all seeing my scores and stuff. You feel me? So look, you're going to do it like this, like a grid like this, right? Put child and adult and just put number. Because the book, the way that the book has it, you really just need 2. Just put child and adult. Sorry. You really need 2 columns, but I said put 3 because that's how the book is. I don't want y'all seeing the score, but that's how the book is. Okay. Now, it's 1 through 22. And you basically, what you're going to have to do is you got to think about it, right? For example, let me give y'all an example. Number 1, I find myself clinging to people I'm close to because I'm afraid they'll leave me. Now, you got to write when you was a child, right? You're going to compare the score. How did you feel? Does that relate to you when you was a child? And how does that relate to you as an adult, right? So let's say if this relates to you 1,000%, you're going to put 6, right? So if you felt like, damn, I did feel like, I was clinging to people and stuff when I was a kid. Okay, then put that. If you feel like now I'm not really clingy like that no more, then put like 1. All right. Or if you're like, oh, I'm unsure, and pick a number that resonates with you. Okay. So that's how it's going to go throughout the test. We're going to do this 1 through 22. Are y'all ready? Yes. Hit the like button. Thank you. Shout out to Dark Goddess. She's always in here, holding it down. Making sure that everybody is liking, subscribing, and sharing. She be holding it down in the chat. I appreciate you, Dark Goddess. Yes. Family, hit that like button. Okay, if this information is helping you in some way, share this with a friend because, like I said, sharing is caring, and we're into the business of helping people evolve and grow. Okay. Okay, y'all ready? All right. I hope I'm making sense, y'all. Okay? All right, let's go. Now, and once again, y'all can come back and listen. If you're watching this after the live or you're watching this in the middle and you're like, what the hell's going on? You can watch this over. I would recommend watching from the beginning to the end. We over an hour. Shit. Okay, sorry, y'all. This is a lot of information in this book, but I want to just do this test really quickly. And we'll follow up. You can feel free to, like I said, if you're in the Conjure Society, if you want to join the Conjure Society, I have the links in the description. And I also have the link to the book so you can actually get this book and you can learn about how to heal and do all this stuff. But we're going to be working in the Conjure Society. I want you to comment what your life trap is, and we're going to start working towards that, like healing that. And other people may have similar life traps as you, and we could hold each other accountable, right? When those triggers come up, what actionable steps can we take to heal that, right? We have to put ourselves in situations in order for us to heal, right? So anyway, I'm saying for those who want to take this to the next level, take their healing to the next level, because there's so much that I can do. Like I see, we over an hour in here in one session. All right, number 2, right? So that was number 1. Number 1 is you're gonna write 1 through 6. 1 meaning it doesn't resonate that much at all, and 6 meaning it resonates a lot. Okay, you're gonna put that for your child and then as your adult self. Now, 1 was I find myself clinging to people I'm close to because I'm afraid they'll leave. Put a number in as a child and put a number in now. Don't worry about the third column. Don't worry about that. Next, number 2, I worry a lot that the people I love will find someone else they prefer and leave me. Do the same thing. And I'm not going to be on this too long because I want y'all to, like I said, I want y'all to write this down. 3, and you could comment below in the video. Once the chat is done, you can comment what you got if you feel comfortable enough to do that and share. Okay, number 3, I am usually on the lookout for people's ulterior motives. I don't trust people easily. Y'all supposed to be writing this down. Make sure you write this down on a pen and paper because you're going to have to add it up. Okay. But like I said, there's more steps. This is just part of the intake form in this book. You got to read this book. Number 4, I feel I cannot let my guard down around other people or they will hurt me. We're about to breeze through this because we behind time. Okay. 5, I worry more than the average person about danger, that I will get sick or that someone will come to hurt me. I worry more than the average person about danger, that I will get sick or that some harm will come to me. That's number 5. Okay. 1, if it doesn't apply at all. 6, if it does. If you're in between, use the in-between numbers. If you don't know, just pick a random number that feels right. Okay. You can always go back and watch this again. 6, I worry that I or my family will lose money and become destitute or dependent on others. 7, I do not feel I can cope well by myself, so I feel I need other people to help me get by. 8, my parents and I tend to be over-involved in each other's lives and problems. 9, I have not had someone to nurture me share him or herself with me, or care deeply about what happens to me. Remember, you're writing this for your child self and your current adult self. People have not been, Number 10, people have not been there to meet my emotional needs for understanding, empathy, guidance, advice, and support. Number 10. I'm going to move faster. Number 11, I feel like I do not belong. I am different. I do not really fit in. Number 12, I'm dull and boring. I don't know what to say socially. Number 13, no one I desire who knew the real me, with all my defects exposed, could love me. Number 14, I am ashamed of myself. I am unworthy of the love, attention, and respect of others. I hope y'all writing this on paper. You're going to have to tally this. This shit is deep. 15, I am not as intelligent or capable as most people when it comes to work or school. Wait, did I skip 14? I don't remember. I think I did. 14 was, I am ashamed of myself. I am unworthy of love, attention, and respect of others. No, I did say that. Number 15, I am not as intelligent or capable as most people when it comes to work. That was 15. I am not as intelligent or capable as most people when it comes to work or school. Okay. Number 16 is, I often feel inadequate because I do not measure up to others in terms of talent, intelligence, and success. Number 17, I feel that I have no choice but to give in to other people's wishes. Otherwise, they will retaliate or reject me in some way. Number 18, people see me as doing too much for others and not enough for myself. Number 19, I try to do my best. I can't settle for good enough. I like to be number one at what I do. Number 20, I have so much to accomplish that there is almost no time to relax and really enjoy myself. Number 21, I feel that I shouldn't have to follow the normal rules and conventions other people have to. And the last one, number 22, I can't seem to discipline myself to complete routine, boring tasks, or to control my emotions. Shit, that shit is hard for everybody with ADD. Them executive functions be like, nah, bro. Routine, tasks, emotional regulation. Oh, that should go right out the window. Oh my God. Okay. Now, I see how they do this. Okay, so there's two parts to this test, but for simplicity, I'm going to give y'all one part, okay? Now look, now I want y'all to write, remember all of the list, the 11 the 11 life traps that I listed, right? Now I want you to, on that paper, I want you to list all of the life, well, probably on a separate piece of paper, or maybe on that third column, you can write a list of all of the life traps. So I'm a list the life trap. The first life trap was abandonment, because we already talked about this, right? So the first life trap was abandonment. The second trap was mistrust and abuse. The third life trap is vulnerability. The fourth life trap is dependence. The fifth life trap is emotional deprivation. The sixth life trap is social exclusion. The seventh life trap is defectiveness. The eighth life trap is failure. The ninth life trap is subjugation. The 10th life trap is unrelenting standards. And the 11th and final life trap is entitlement. Okay. Now, this is where it gets tricky, because remember how I told you they like to pair the life traps together and choose. So here it is. And I hope I'm making sense, because like I said, it's a little difficult reading it from a book and then trying to teach it, but I'm doing my best. Now, for remember the questions that I asked you, remember 1 through 22. Now, for the questions 1 and 2, what was whatever your highest score was, I want you to write that where I had put, remember I said the 3 columns number? I want you to make a note of that, and I want you to put that next to abandonment. Number 1 and 2 questions that I asked you was dealing with your abandonment issue. These are the people who feel abandoned when they were children or abandoned as adults. Depending on your number, your score, it tells you whether or not you have those schemas, right? So let's say, for instance, if you get, the book says here, right? If you score like a low number, let's say like 1 or 2 or 3, they say like it's not a big deal, right? Like if you score a 1, 2, or 3, a 1, 2, or 3 was your highest number out of those, then it says like, leave it blank. But if you scored like 4 or 5 or 6, put a check next to it, because that is one of your life traps. It's a high percentage, is one of your life traps, okay? The second one, number 3 and number 4, questions number 3 and number 4 deals with mistrust and abuse. Put the highest number. It doesn't matter if it's for child or if it's for adult. Okay. Now, number 5 and 6 is vulnerability. So do the same thing, right? 5 and 6. So look at the numbers. What was the highest number for this? And you write it down. So let's say if you got a 1 was your highest score for vulnerability, then put 1 for like your highest score. And if you got like I said, anything lower than 4, like if you got 1, 2, or 3, it's not a big deal. If you get 4, 5, or 6 as your highest number, then it's a big deal, and you need to look into that. Okay. Dependence was number 7 and 8. Before we go on, am I making sense? Is this making sense, or is this confusing as hell? Because I want to make sure that everybody is on the same page as me. I know this is confusing a little bit because I'm reading from the book. That's why I said get this book, because we're going to go deeper in the Conjure Society. This is just me giving you the resources to start your studying. But if you want to take it to the next level, like I said, join us. I put the link to the book in the description. Hold on one second. And I will add the Conjure Society link again. I might pin that. Hold up. Okay. Yeah, because I had put the book, but like I said, I pinned all of that in the description. Let me go back. What number were we up to? Goddamn. I think we did 7 and 8, right? Yeah, we did 7 and 8. You're supposed to put no, we did 5 and 6. So put your final score. Put a check next to it if you got 4, 5, or 6 as your highest score. If it's lower than a 4, 5, or 6, then don't put a check next to it. Okay. Okay. Once again, I said if you missed it, you can watch this over again. What are we up to? Sorry. 9, 9, and 10. I'm fasting too. I just realized I didn't eat today. Okay. 9 and 10 is emotional deprivation. 7 and 8 was dependence. Sorry if I skipped that. So let me just go over again. So abandonment was numbers 1 and 2, right? Mistrust and abuse is 3 and 4. Vulnerability is 5 and 6. Dependence is 7 and 8. Emotional deprivation is 9 and 10. And that's okay, magically. If you need time to think about this, like I told you, like this is just you to take this information and for you to go and get the book, do your research, join our Conjure Society so you don't feel overwhelmed because you're not by yourself. A lot of us, as the chat showed, we all going through similar things. We just don't talk about it. We all been suffering in silence, and that time is over. Now, social exclusion is 11 and 12. So put your highest score and check it if it's high. Leave it alone if it's not. If you put a check next to it, that means that more than likely that is a life trap you need to work on. Defectiveness is 13 and 14. So look at the number for that, the highest score that you got. It doesn't matter if you was a child, whatever, put the highest number that you have. Failure is 15 and 16. And that's okay. Like I said, there's sometimes it takes time to think about it, and it's okay. That's why I said if you don't know, just put a random number, but you can always go back, watch this video again, and process it. Some of y'all may need to watch this video multiple times because you might have to come and do the work and keep doing it, and that's okay. That's why this video is going to be here for you. But like I said, in the Conjure Society, we're going to go deeper into this. This book is intense. Like I told y'all, I still got to finish reading this. I'm halfway through, but this is like the beginning of the book. So this is just the starting point so you can know and identify what your life trap is. In the Conjure Society, we're going to work on solutions and fixing it, reprogramming the mind. That's what conjurers do. Next is subjugation. Subjugation is 17 and 18. Unrelenting standards is 19 and 20. And entitlement is 21 and 22. So those are the 11 life traps, and those were the signs of tests to see which one you have. Feel free to tally it up or, let us know. Like I said, it's another part where you have to add the test from questions 1 through 10, but that's a whole complex thing. Might bring that into the Conjure Society. Like I said, we're going to delve into this book. And Conjurous members, I would highly suggest getting this book. I will also put the link in the group. Okay. Yes. So any questions before I go? And shout out to everybody who donated and supported. I appreciate you. Okay. We went over an hour and a half. I know this was a lot of information because I was starting to break it into like part 1, part 2, but I just wanted to get it all out. Like I said, check out the book, Reinvent Your Life, by Dr. Jeffrey Young and Dr. Janet Klosko. Excellent book written by 2 doctors who really study people, did case studies, and they have examples of people who probably went through the same thing that you went through, and also experiments that they did in order to help them break free. That's why it's called Reinvent Your Life. We're all trapped in these 11 life traps, or some of these life traps that's not allowing us to live the life that we want. We always talk about doing shadow work and healing, but we need practical solutions. Y'all been asking for practical solutions. I'm giving it to y'all. Read this book, okay? Read this book, do the work. First, identify what your life trap is. Some people didn't even know life traps existed. Some people in here never even knew they had one. If you never even knew about the life traps, also drop that in the chat, the comments as well. If this information has helped you open your eyes in some way, let us know. If any of these resonated with you, let us know. And any of these 11 life traps resonated the most, drop it in the chat, drop it in the comment section. Let us know. Let's talk about it. If you have any questions, after you do tally it up, if y'all need time to meditate and reflect on it, now is the time to do so. We're in a waning moon cycle right now. We're in a winter season right now. So this is the perfect time to do shadow work and to do healing on yourself. Ashe. This is the time to do healing on yourself, reprogramming the mind, rewire and reset. Say that again, Taylor. This is very important information, and it is, because when we talk about shadow work, it's not just about the mystical, magical. We got to do practical things as well. We got to mix the magical, the spiritual with the practical and the realistic stuff, right? But like I said, things on this channel is going to be changing because I want to start providing more books, more information. Like I said, we're bringing you to the Conjure Society so that you can have a community of people to study with. We're going to work through Reinventing Your Life. We're going to actually do exercises, work through this book, and we're going to help each other and hold each other accountable. A lot of us don't have accountability partners, and that's why we keep slipping back into old patterns. But if you got somebody that's on your ass, it's like, listen, you tripping, you going back to your old patterns again. I see you slipping. I'm just here to nudge you and let you know, because we don't realize that we're doing it until we're already back into that cycle again. We get back into the same relationships with different people, same, like different faces. It's the same person, right? You ever notice that? It's like the same problem. You think you healed, you took time to be single, but now you're back in a relationship. You've been celibate, but now you're back in a relationship, and all of those issues that you thought you worked on is coming back up again. You didn't heal. You did not heal. Those things are still going to come up, and that's okay. But if you feel like they still control your life, if you're still feeling like something subconsciously is happening with me and I don't understand why these things keep happening to me, now it's time to shift. Now it's time to reprogram, rewire. There you go. Reprogram, rewire, reset, heal. There you go. Well said, Taylor. Well said. Get this book, y'all. I'm going to drop the links again in the comment section. Once again, all of my links are always in my description of my videos. Share this with a friend. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button, only because it helps with the algorithms and it helps to share the information with those who need it the most, okay? And it's okay if you checked everything. Listen, don't feel bad. Nothing to be ashamed of. The fact that you are taking active steps to heal and help yourself, you're way ahead of the majority of the population. Because a lot of people still stuck on stupid, and they still drinking from the love and light waters, and they still stuck in they stuck where they at. They stuck where they at. Not saying that we're any better, but everybody's on their own path. And what I realize is that those who choose to ignore their shadow, those who choose to just focus on love and light and not the dark stuff, those people are never going to find wholeness. Because even in Eastern philosophy, they talk about yin and yang. You can't have light without the darkness, and you can't have darkness without light, because darkness came before light. But they balance each other in this material realm. Okay? Chaos comes before order. And what we're seeing in the world is chaos energy right now. Before the new ears, the rightful ears, right? The new gods, the new ones come up and rise up to overthrow this false system with our neurodivergent minds to shift this fucking reality. But I love you. If this video has helped in any way, please drop it in the comment section. I said a lot. A mouthful. My mouth is dry. I'm tired. I'm about to go probably eat something. because I've been fasting nonstop. And yeah, I hope this video has helped. I'll see you in the Conjure Society. Once again, I will drop the links in the comments as well. And I will replay this and look at the chat, because I always look at y'all comments. And I will engage with you there. I love you. Drop your questions below. I'm here for you. And let's continue to heal on this journey. Ashe, Aho, Dua, Amin Ra. I will see you guys soon. See you in the Conjure Society. Peace.